tell me if this works, or how's that work?
It should be working now since it said.
It should be. I actually didn't even post anything. let's go on youtube.com.
Let's see if anyone wanders in.
Yeah, see if anyone wanders in.
Yeah, it should be live.
Let's go. It works. We did it, folks. We did it. All right,
did it.
Let me share this. We're going live.
Hell yeah.
Create post. Going live.
Yeah.
We just do it. We just go by the seat of our pants here. I take my inspiration from Alex.
You know what?
And we're going to show our first Slay comment. Happy New Year, Slay.
Happy New Year, Slay.
Let's
What's
go,
up, buddy?
Dude. Slay's the man. And then I have to keep an eye on the guest number thing for when Chris gets here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess I'll start with an introduction for people who are on replay instead of simply starting off by you guys watching me post something. Hey, welcome. This is a cover reveal for my first book, my debut novel, Mercy, Tears of the Fallen. We have members of the Red Company here, a reading club. We have Alex of Iskandaria. We have Jake from Nerd Level Rising. Chris from Bearded Book Beast will be here momentarily. We're here to just talk books and discuss story. And yeah, there's absolutely no plan to this. So sit back, strap in, and enjoy the ride. Oh, there he is. The most helpful human on planet Earth in regards to everything books. Oh my gosh, he is.
I gotta buy his book day one.
Is Abel right? I feel like that's right. I feel like that's wrong. I heard Philip say it, and he said it right. And the whole time I was saying Abel, but I know that's not right. I just know it's not right. You just know. Let me double check that Chris isn't here. Okay, not yet. He said he's going to stream on it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful that you guys were like, hey, Chance, you should probably do a cover reveal stream. Because it didn't cross my mind. Alex, you're kind of like a hero in that regard by mentioning it.
Did I? I don't remember this.
Yeah, you were like, hey, or I don't know, I don't know who said it in our group chat, but somebody did, and I'm grateful that they did because, yeah, I really want to. This is kind of a big day overall. Like I've kind of had a soft release up to this point for the last few days. And getting into it and really putting out the cover and getting some feedback and, seeing what people are saying and the excitement that's building for it is getting me excited. And then also, being able to chat with you guys, any excuse that we have when we're not doing our Red Company meetings is nice.
I know.
Yeah.
You should, I don't know if you can put it on screen somehow, probably not, or type it in the chat or something, but your Instagram name so people can go on there and see.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because you have the full grid of your book cover on your Instagram now. So.
Oh.
It looks nice.
Yeah, I did that. Let's see if that goes in. Yeah, there we go. And now I can do that. Look at that. That's crazy.
Hey.
This thing is like pretty effective. I think that's my Instagram. I'm pretty sure that's it.
I hope that's my Instagram.
I hope that's it. I honestly don't know. It sounds about right. I can't check right now. You guys are literally on my phone. But that's it. That's it. But yeah, I can pin this, can't I? Huh?
You probably can.
I could star it, and then I think it'll just be in there. Let's see. I don't know. We're learning this software as we go. I had a failure the first time I did it. Oh, and then there he is. Boom, shakalaka. Boom,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh, yeah. I poured a glass of wine to celebrate New Year's. Cheers.
Woo. Boom.
There you go. I got
I should have brought a cup of coffee. That's my equivalent.
Oh, yeah.
I got
diet root beer.
Diet root beer. Nice.
A&W.
It is. This is leftover from when I was prepping, so we got to finish them up.
That's a good call. Oh, how is it, Jake, by the way, being able to eat, actually, like to eat food?
Fantastic. It's so nice.
Yeah?
It's
That
so
was a good
nice.
thing.
What was the first thing you put in your mouth? Well, what was the first food item you put in your mouth right after you finished your show?
This is going to sound really funny, but it was a Subway because I wanted vegetables and protein so bad.
Oh.
Because anyone, like if you're not familiar, right? Like the day of your competition, the whole point, you just want to look. There's a very specific look that you're going for, which requires a lot of carbs and a lot of sodium. and so and like nothing else in the water. But like you don't want a bunch of fat, you don't want a bunch of protein. So the whole morning I'm just pounding like pretzels and cereal and stuff like that. And I was like, I want vegetables. So we hit a Subway and it was fantastic. So, and then the next day I had Thanksgiving dinner. So that was my actual.
Yeah. Like a Subway sub. What was the Subway sub? What do you use? Turkey and cheese? Is that simple?
It's usually simple. Like I always get like the chicken breast, whatever, just your basic chicken, and then pretty much some of all the veggies.
Oh wow.
And then, a little bit of everything, except olives. I'm not an olive person.
Yeah, I'm not an olive guy either.
Yeah, and then I got what sauce did I get? Baja Chipotle sauce.
That's good.
Baja Chipotle is pretty ripping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big Baja Chipotle guy.
That must have been the most basic food of all the bodybuilders.
Oh, dude, everyone back there. You go backstage and everyone's got like a huge box of a dozen donuts and
you
get the whole and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, like, are you trying to have diarrhea tonight? Like, this is not a good idea. Your body is so used to digesting like 3 different foods. You can't do that.
Right. I think I mean, I've never put the time in for it, but because I like cookies too much, I think cookies would be a box of like, there's this bakery down where we live that has chocolate chip cookies that are just, when they're warm, they're so good. I can't even. That would be my go-to. I don't know about you guys. Chris, what would be your go-to? Let's talk about go-to bodybuilding food after a show.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I don't know. That's hard. I can't even think what it would be. I'm just thinking about Subway now after Subway and
meatball parm. I'm a hot sub guy.
I like the chicken teriyaki sub from there.
Yeah,
with some of that Baja sauce on it.
There you go.
I don't know. Like if I hadn't eaten anything besides super healthy stuff for a long time, man, I'd probably want like a big steak dinner or something. Like steak and potatoes.
Fat steak, right?
I had that pretty early on too.
Oh yeah,
days following. I haven't had
all the lost time.
Yeah. What have I not had? I haven't had Mexican food yet or Chinese food yet.
Chinese would be good too.
I haven't done that yet. I'm trying to, not gain all the weight back.
So
that's right.
Do it all in one day.
Yeah.
No, you got to do it all in one day.
Go to
all
a Chinese buffet and just go wild.
Alex, what about you? What's your top foods?
Honestly, top foods or top foods for this?
What would be your like?
I'd probably just go I'd probably go for fried rice and shrimp.
Oh wow, okay,
that's good.
All choice.
Oh wow, all right.
I love that, and if I couldn't eat, I love hibachi. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, hibachi.
And I love shrimp, and I was going to say crab, but the amount of effort it takes to get crab.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you're that hungry after not eating, you wouldn't want to have crab, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want crab.
But it's already dug out for you.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, so you're reading Demon in White right now, right?
I am, yeah.
Well, and you're about a third of the way through, or where you at?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And how do you love it? How do you love it so far?
I love it. It's very good. I like it a lot.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear your thoughts as you go.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. It's good. It's good. No surprise there.
Yeah,
we got never had that, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah, that does.
That does sound good.
Lobster sauce.
Shrimp with lobster.
I'm not a seafood guy, so I don't know.
I love seafood.
Yeah, seafood's a go. Sushi's a kind of a go-to for me too. I might revise what I'm saying. Oh, literally moving houses. Congratulations,
dude.
Sam.
That is brutal.
Yeah, we'll see you, man.
All the
Thanks
best.
for stopping in.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
That's so exciting though. Moving houses.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's a big deal. But I think I would revise my answer to sushi if we're going there. I think
Sushi's good.
Oh man, you just made me think of my favorite sushi. I think it's the volcano roll. It has.
That sounds about right.
Oh yeah. They have fried shrimp in it, and they have king crab shreds all over the top. It's so good. And what they'll do is they'll bring it up to you with a fire on top.
That's cool.
It still remains cold, but it's so good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Jake, you're reading what right now?
I'm in the middle of One Piece, bro. I'm smack dab in the middle of the Water 7 arc right now. Water 7 Saga. I'm in the middle of Ennie's Lobby, and it every bit as good as everybody has. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about One Piece, dude. Every saga I've gotten through, I get it more and more. Like, at first it was like, yeah, this is fun, whatever. And then you get into like the second saga and the third one. It's like, okay, there's so much depth of theme and character and all these things. Like, I'm hooked. This is amazing. He's clearly like a master of foreshadowing and backstories for characters. Now, like every panel in this whole arc matters so much. Like the plot is so tight. It's just like there's not a wasted word, nothing. It's amazing. I told my girl, she doesn't care about One Piece at all. I was telling her this morning, I was like, this is crazy how tight this plot is. She was like, what? But yeah, it's amazing.
You're making me so happy, Jake.
Is the Water 7 the one that when I was watching your guys' stream early on, where you guys, or Alex, you were smack talking an arc from One Piece? It's not the Water 7 arc, is it?
It was probably Long Ring Long Land.
All right, that doesn't sound familiar.
That one was a little weird. Yeah, it's the very start of Water 7, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it was the Water 7.
It was a little weird.
Really quick, I'm going to dump in this comment. We got Zachary Shea. Check the Insta. Covers dope. Thanks, man. And then we got, I'm not going to say that right. I'm going to say Lucas, but that's probably not right. Congrats. Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. In terms of writing, I think I do subscribe to that kind of do your best to write every day, mentality, 1 minute, whatever. When you spoke with Janny and she was like, I didn't want to shift from what you were reading. And then Alex, we'll get to what you were reading later.
All right.
Currently.
It works, actually.
Yeah, it does. Okay. He's going to tie in.
Yeah.
Oh, because Janny. All right.
I'm reading Janny.
That's so awesome. What are you reading for Janny? Real quick. We'll dive into that.
I'm reading Fugitive Prince, book 4 of Wars of Light and Shadow.
Oh man, you're rolling.
It's so good.
Book 4.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you're gonna be like, I'm taking forever. I'm at like page 800, and we're a week and a half in.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
I'm like 2-3 days in. I'm on page 89. I was reading that right before.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. That sounds like a reasonable pace.
Well,
that's pretty good.
Not for me.
That sounds like a good normal pace. The expectations are for a normal person.
Yeah.
When you were talking to Janny and you were listening to her speak about writing because you also are writing, like periodically, how did that register and resonate with you as you're hearing her talk about it?
Oh, dude, it was the most inspiring thing. And then it's like I just keep smacking a wall because there's just like so much annoying stuff, like for this. I'm an idiot who's doing a PhD at the same time, so like it's tough. You're a little busy. But it's like every time that there's some time to work on it, I'm just like, I gotta I literally 2,500 ultrasound scans on my computer that I need to analyze and measure. And I'm like, I should probably do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think 2,500 ultrasound measurements would take priority. Wow, that's insane.
That's a lot of
2,500. How long are you looking at each? Now let's dive into this. How long are you looking at each ultrasound?
Not long. That's the nice thing is each one is pretty quick.
Okay.
It's just the volume of them.
Right. I mean, 2,500. Yeah, that is quite a few.
Yeah.
How long do you have left in the PhD? I've asked this, but
it kind of depends. So I might be done in December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or I might kick it down the road another semester or so and be done in like next April or whatever. It kind of depends. Okay. It mostly depends on whether or not I want to take another semester to just get more subjects, which would just increase the sample size. It's just easier to find things statistically that way. Yeah. Or if I essentially want to buy more time before I have to be out in the real world, then that's sort of an option as well of, either extending the graduation timeline or try to do like a postdoc. Which the postdoc is a whole can of worms because I have to find the funding for that. The school doesn't have that available. So then it's me begging people to give me money to do another study or whatever. But
whatever it takes. Yeah. Whatever it takes.
I got the ball rolling a little bit, so we'll see where it goes. But yeah, it's kind of the unknown stresses me out a lot. But it is what it is, man. You just gotta keep going, I guess.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to one of our resident authors here, Abel.
Oh, yeah.
Going to bed. Yeah, man. Thanks so much for coming. His book and Chris. I mean, you've seen it, right?
Yep.
I cannot. I am the Crimson. It's Crimson Fire, correct? I hope I'm doing that
I
justice.
think so, yeah.
And he did some of the graphic. I think like most of the graphic design on the cover, and it is
looks awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait for that book to come out. And then, Lucas, did you guys write something smaller or shorter before jumping into a big project? I guess I'll start with saying kind of. I talked about this with John from Talking Story. It ended up turning into a big project, but I started working on a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and I was writing down, I was like, oh, let me just like write a story real quick in the inside of a world in a campaign, and then me write a background story for a character, and then that turned into what ended up being the big project. I find with writing in general, and again, not that I'm an expert in the subject with the debut coming out in July, but it's starting with character and then building out from there and seeing the world through their eyes was one of the most useful tools that I found. And then I also found within my story, like my short story I wrote was actually, it started as, and Chris, I think you've read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Alex, I think as well. I can't remember.
I've read what?
The short story, or no? You
No.
read some. Okay. Yeah. That started, Chris, as a chapter I cut from the beginning of my book because it was sort of a flashback chapter. And so the end of that is a chapter I ended up cutting from the book. So I think you find as you go, I mean, I don't have any good advice for this because everybody works differently. If you I word vomit and then I figure it out, or I try to figure it out at the end of the day. And I mean, I understand the advice from people who've written wrote big series who say start with something small, and I think a lot of those people have. But then you see people like Joe Abercrombie, who his first book, is 180,000 words, who's incredible. I mean, he's like obviously kind of a unicorn.
Yeah.
But the way I looked at it was, if whatever story needs to be told, just tell it, and however big it is, however small it is, how many ever narrative perspectives you need to tell the story, and the size of the project doesn't necessarily matter. I think what matters is what story needs to be told, and then just tell that. That'd be what I would say I followed mostly. I'm also going to turn up my AC because holy heck, I could take off one of my shirts, but it's getting kind of hot. Whenever I talk about myself,
whoa, man,
uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
You're gonna get more viewers now.
Yeah, I know.
No. It's Christmas time.
Most handsome guy on BookTube out here.
No. When Jacob said the chillest booktuber ever, I was like, wow, that was an honor. I took that and I ran with it. I posted it everywhere.
Oh, did you really?
No, but I should.
You should. Right?
Yeah, that was in the book. Yeah, I should actually. I'm gonna be like the most chillest booktuber ever. I'm actually. I talked to my
chillest booktuber ever. Jacob.
Yeah. So I talked to my mom. I was like, hey Ma, I'm gonna. Thanks, John. See, he appreciates. Look, very 90s. Yeah, I was born in the 90s. It makes sense. I was talking to my mom, and I guess people who come back and watch this stream, or if you like whoever's on replay, or you guys who are here live, I kept sending like books, like book copies of my book to my mom to read, and she's like, oh, I'll edit it, I'll look at it. I'm like, okay, just like if you read it, that's cool. And she's got her attention is she'll attest to this. She's a little all over the place. She's very funny. And I'm gonna put a quote on the inside of the book from her that says, "Gonna get to it next. Like, gonna get to it soon. Looks good though." I'm gonna put that in there somewhere and just sneak it in, and I think that'll be perfect.
That's beautiful. I love that.
That way she gets her imprint on my first book. You know what I mean? That'll be a little hidden gem in there for people who actually read the quotes.
There you go.
Which I like to go in and read them.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to ask more questions about Wars of Light and Shadow if you can talk without spoilers, Alex, although in the past you've been known to not in regard to our berserk discussion of the Red Company. So I kind of am curious as to if you can synopsize premise of just like maybe not at necessarily where you're up to right now, but
I'm not gonna do that. No.
If you were to describe,
I'm nervous, bro. I'm nervous.
If you were to ruin the book for Jake, how would you go about describing the very broadly?
Ruin the book for Jake.
Can I just say, this is days after you talked to John about have no expectations, going blank.
Yeah, that's so.
And now we have this.
I'm just really, you know what it is? I want to vicariously live through everybody. Like when you guys do these discussions of Wars Light and Shadow, I'm going to tune into the non-spoiler stuff. Like I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I just like to hear what people are saying and thinking, as of course you guys who just read Wind and Truth know, like I'm asking questions. Like I want to know. I'm obviously also so curious because it's not literally a market question, but it kind of is. Like you're like, oh, I kind of want to know like what people are enjoying, you know? And if Wind and Truth is getting a lot of heat right now for whatever pros, but it's still a good story at the end of the day. Like I think Jake, your description of it is, I think you do a pretty good justice. You say that it's flaws, but you also acknowledge that there's an entire body of work that led to this that makes it good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's at least what I'm gathering.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've heard some critiques of some of the narrative choices and some of the character arcs and things like that. And some of it's just personal preference, right? Like you just might not like something, that's fine. But yeah, I think I've heard some things that I'm like, did you read the other book? Like this does make sense, right? With all the context that's there. But I don't, what do I know?
No. Yeah, I think my experience with Brandon Sanderson is quite literally The Way of Kings, and that is it.
Yeah,
that is my Brandon Sanderson experience, and I loved it. Like I genuinely did love it. I had read it so long ago when I made my top 10 video that I was like, okay, like I remember loving it. The ending to me was the biggest like hitter. I see a lot of people talking about the interludes of Brandon Sanderson that he puts in. And I actually liked at least the ones in Way of Kings. I like those. Like I like the context it adds to the story. Like
there's only one interlude I don't like in all of Stormlight.
In all of Stormlight. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like
Jake, you're gonna have to tell me what that is.
Chris left. Chris can't do it. He's like, really one?
There's only one I didn't like. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a hot take. I'll just say that. It's
okay.
The stereotypical one that most people, if someone's gonna dislike one of them, it's gonna be that one.
Is it a spicy scene? Does
no.
Brandon Sanderson do spice? Oh,
it's a certain character that a lot of people have a hard time getting behind. I will say.
I think I know which one it is.
Yeah. It was yeah. It's in Oathbringer. I'll just say that.
Okay. I hear.
Okay, never mind.
This is not to say anything about it. The mixed things I heard about Oathbringer lead me to believe that I'm going to enjoy Oathbringer when that day comes. Yeah.
I feel very confident you'll love Oathbringer.
Oh, yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting. Like people, I see the critiques because of how good Words of Radiance is. Mostly, I feel like if you come off of a book that people say is like one of the best fantasy books written of all time, it's kind of hard to follow it up. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just from my perspective, but yeah, limited perspective. Chris, how was your holiday? How was the family?
Good. Yeah, it was good. It was just busy. Goes by quick, Like since I'm a teacher, I get Christmas break off, so I look forward to this 2-week break, and it just flies by. It just goes so quick. So no, go ahead. What are you saying?
No, I was gonna say, growing up, I have clients now who have children, and they're like, they're only home for break for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea, and you guys are sneaky. I had no idea it was only 2 weeks. I thought it was 6 months that I was off of school.
6 months?
That's how it felt. That's how it felt. I was living in a time where everything felt like 6 months, even though it was actually 2 weeks.
Those are the days. Well, at least for things like that, I guess. Good things.
Yeah, that's a secret I got. I also wanted, Chris, to ask you, like in regards to writing, because you also have a Grimdark project that you're working on, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I think you've talked to us about it offline, correct?
A little bit, yeah.
A little
your
bit.
Channel a little bit too.
Yeah. And your channel, you're comfortable speking a little bit more about it. Like how do you navigate that? Because you upload a ton of videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've tried to just write a little bit every day. Sometimes it's not much. Sometimes it's a lot. Just depends on the day. but just as long as I'm in it doing something, you know. Sometimes it's just tweaking something or writing ideas down. As long as I'm doing something with it every day, I feel like that's good. Because it's, I know it gets crazy when you got kids and work and, you know, trying to still read, and then this YouTube thing is takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, you're kind of like the Elon Musk of BookTube. In terms of, I understand he's a hot character right now in the world, but before he got into politics, everyone, you know, like you just see him, and he's you know, he's just a hardworking guy who like slept in a warehouse. You know what I mean? Like,
I see where it's
23 hours a day and you sleep an hour. That's what I'm referring to. You kind of just like, I guess I should have thought about that before saying it.
I'll take that as a compliment. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you work hard. You got 5 different companies, incling children, and family, and your work, and
that's a whole company on itself.
Parallel. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're able to function, you know, and work, and somehow still be one of the most positive people, I think, maybe on planet Earth.
I've always tried to just live in the moment. You know, you can control what you can control. Worry about the future when the future comes. I mean, you got to plan a little bit, but just live in the moment. Live in the day. Do what you can do that day. That's kind of what I do, one day at a time.
Heck yeah. Okay. In reference to your writing in your book, what would you say were your primary, like, what was a spark that got you, like, I want to sit down and write?
Well, so I've actually always, like, my dream has always been to be a writer since I was a kid, even. So, like, I don't know if you guys ever had things at your school, but like, we had a writing contest every year. It's called Young Authors, and then by the end of the year, you had to turn in like a story or whatever, and then the winners would go to like the special thing with your teacher, and you'd go out to lunch and go to like some thing where you read your story to like other people and stuff. I can't remember because I was young, but I love doing that. So even and all right, so I won the first. It was 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Oh,
I won 6th and 7th grade, and then 8th grade I won too. But the teacher said we're gonna let somebody else go.
Oh no, that is unacceptable. Dude, I love that you were trying to be humble before you said it. You're like, all right, guys. So I won. You're like, you're like, all right, I guess I'll.
They kind of changed the rules because of me, you know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. I was too good. Thinks he won in 8th grade, but really no.
Three-peat.
I let him go.
I hope he's watching this right now.
Yeah,
just feels horrible about himself.
Son of a gun! I knew it.
Yeah.
So I always just wanted to, and then I actually. So this is something I haven't talked about because I don't want anyone to find it. But when Amazon's like self-publishing got big, I actually wrote a lot of short stories and a couple of like superhero type books. And I had them out, and I was like doing it, but then I started having kids, and I kind of like just stopped doing it, which was kind of dumb because it was fun, and I was making a little bit of money, but I took it all down, so I don't think anyone can find it.
I was gonna say we got to go find it. I was about to
start looking for it.
Have you considered reworking it?
Yeah, I have thought about it. There was one that was like a homeless superhero, and then there was one that was like a I don't know, it was like a clown who was kind of a little bit unstable. And he was kind of like a Punisher-esque character, but you were like your first person. You were in his head, and he was a little bit deranged and a little crazy. So that was interesting, but yeah, it was kind of cool. But so then I always just wanted to, and then once I found BookTube and started reading more and saw people doing the self-publishing thing, that's when it was like I got to do it. I got to do it again. I got to get back into it.
Yeah, and you're currently operating on a single story. Are you doing a short story? Are you doing a not? Like, how's that working?
Yeah, I'm doing a book, a novel, and then working on like a prequel short story / novella to go with it, but kind of going back and forth with those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you? What is for people tuning in a live stream? what would the premise be? John asked me for an elevator pitch, and I was like, I have a note somewhere in my phone, but I'm like, I don't know.
I know. I got to think of a quick elevator pitch, but so it's basically like a okay. So think Star Wars with the evil empire, but picture that in a fantasy world. So no space, no technology stuff. Low magic, but low, like first law world. Okay. But think of an evil empire like in Star Wars, and as they go and like conquer all these places, they kill off the soldiers and adults, but they keep the kids, and then they like indoctrinate them and brainwash them into becoming their soldiers and their assassins and stuff like that. So the main character is one of those kids that got, his village and family got wiped out. He gets turned into this assassin. He does all these bad things, and then eventually down the road he kind of breaks free of it all, and then he escapes, and he wants to get revenge and kind of make up for all the wrong he did. So he travels around under the disguise as like a harmless bard, because he's actually good at like singing and stuff.
Okay, heck yeah.
His mandolin has like all these weapons and stuff in it, like secretly, and he goes from town to town doing singing gigs, but really he's hunting down these people from this empire one by one. And then along the way, he's helping people that can't help themselves to make up for all the bad things he did, kind of.
Wow. All right. So there's obviously depth there. That's incredible.
Yeah. Are you an anime guy at all?
Well, not really. My son is, and he's kind of gotten me into it. And being in BookTube, I'm starting to. But
yeah, it sounds like you might like Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's like a period piece, like samurai Japan, feudal Japan.
That sounds cool.
It's kind of it's not the same, but it's somewhat similar. Of the main character was super violent. They call them manslayers, and then at the turn of the government, where everything's now like peaceful, now he's trying to like make up for what he did in the past. Be a good person. And he's traveling around. It's
nice. Cool. I would like that. That does sound good.
All right, heck yeah. Now, Alex, as a voracious reader, you're kind of entering. Are we entering college phase soon? Is that happening? Like, what's the move?
Yeah.
In terms of are you going to take a lot of fantasy courses in college? Like I wish I did, or like what's the deal?
Oh, there's the college I want to go to. I see that they have a fantasy novel course. I'll have to take that,
of course.
But I'm thinking I want to go into the medical field.
Oh wow!
But I want to still maintain my love of reading. So I definitely want to take that class, and I also see that they have a sci-fi novel class, so I probably want to try and take that.
That's cool.
Especially because it's sci-fi tends to be so philosophical, and that's one of my favorite things to do when reading.
Yeah.
And
that's incredible. So the medical field is appealing.
Should I say that again?
So the medical field is appealing to you. That's like top of the heap. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I had that sort of focus when I was younger. I did not. Yeah. That's incredible.
Alex is going to get a real job. I guess Chris has a real job. You and me are just out here trying to play around and lift weights and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally it. That's just how it worked out. That's so funny. That's so true. Oh my God. Alex, did you do your top 10 reads of the 2024 or did you not?
So I was going to record it this morning, but then I got distracted.
I'm just curious.
And I was also going to release it this morning. So what's going to happen is tomorrow I'm going to record it and then I'm going to upload it.
Okay. Are we able to get any sort of advice?
You want to hear a little bit?
Or sorry, not advice. You know what I mean?
Peek.
Yeah, sneak peek.
I can tell you what my favorite book of the year is easily.
Okay, what is it? Tell us.
Spoiling the whole list.
I know. No point in watching
Jesse,
it now.
Jesse, while you're here, while we're getting this,
no, they can shut up.
I'm a trainer. I'm a personal trainer.
There's another thing that's tied for book of the year. I still haven't figured it out. So
wait. I can't.
Which one is this? Book 3?
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, that is a beautiful cover.
I know.
Those UK covers are so nice.
They're so nice.
Insane.
And they just brought them here to America, so
yeah, I'm definitely dude. The U.S. mass market paperbacks are
they're rough.
I'm not going to criticize the artist, but I'm going to get the UK ones.
That's sick. Okay, so that's the end. Excuse me, of the Realm of the Underlings, correct?
Oh yeah, I finished it. I stayed up till 4 a.m. reading this book.
Dang.
How many days
did you write?
Say that again.
I think we all said something the same.
Yeah.
You did. I couldn't hear anything.
Chris,
I just said that wasn't on a school night, was it, Alex?
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
That is so wild. That is awesome. Reading on a school night till 4 a.m. Unacceptable.
Hardcore.
I'd die. I had 2 hours of sleep.
Did you? And then I asked. I said, how much did you cry reading that book?
Ooh.
Or at all?
I didn't.
I was gonna say Alex doesn't cry.
That's a good point. I think he's talking
I wanted
to.
I'm not gonna lie. There were 2 or 3 moments where I almost cried, and I was like, "Please cry! I want to cry."
Oh, it hit. Yeah.
Because it was so powerful, and like my voice was breaking as I was reading.
Oh wow!
And trying to process through it. It was so beautiful. It's just the best thing I've ever read. Just the beauty and the pain and all of it tied up so brilliantly into one knot. I want to start rereading it already, but I'm going to give myself some time for the Curious King edition to come out and me to take one.
Oh yeah, I need to figure out when I'm going to get to Live Ship Traders, but finishing the Farseer trilogy, I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself a break because I finished a trilogy, and now we still have the last 4 to get through, and I need to get through Adan. Those are like the 2 big trilogies on the top of my list right now to finish because I started them. So I want to get to Live Ship Traders. I hear it's some of the best in the entire series. I don't know how true that is.
No, it is. It is phenomenal. It's so good. In fact, I was going to make a video at some point this week talking about one of my favorite themes from it. I'm not going to tell you what the theme is. You'll probably pick up on it.
All right.
But it's so brilliant in the way it wants something of the reader, and it slowly gets you to have the reaction it wants you to have.
Yeah.
It's just impeccable. And the way she talks about family, and relationships, it's so
Oh, okay. That sounds like something I want to get to sooner.
Yeah.
You should.
Wow. I just want to take a second because Christopher Navo is coming back. I think as the year comes in 2025, we're going to see a little bit more Christopher Navo in our lives. So thanks for stopping by, bud. I'm really excited to see what your project is as well. And thanks for the congratulations. I'm excited to see what you have doing. And then Jesse, yeah, I mean, there are some things that like hit me, some story elements that really affect me. I talked about this with John. There's a character in The Last Argument of Kings. You guys all read the First Law trilogy, like the first trilogy? Okay. Without spoiling it, I'm gonna describe this, and I'm gonna see if you guys know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to give away the name, but there's a character in all 3 books who ends up dying, and in the moment that he dies, they're in this mighty event in The Last Argument of Kings, and it is this quiet, very peaceful moment. And this is so hard to not spoil. I don't know how many characters die at the end of First Law.
I'm trying
to remember. It's been a minute since I read it.
Yeah, I read it right after I started Assassin's Apprentice last year.
He's a character you would likely forget if this didn't happen to him at the end of the 3rd book.
Okay, then I'm really questioning it.
Hopefully that doesn't give anything away.
I thought I had one. I thought I had a character, but if you say it's likely to forget, it's probably not him.
We'll have to talk about it.
We'll have to talk about it after the stream.
I think I might know who you mean, but
I think I might know too, but I'm not.
I don't have a clue.
I want to say, oh, real quick, we have to take a moment to recognize Vera in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks so much.
There you go.
I appreciate you checking it out, by the way. Thank you. I mean, the grid thing on Instagram was on. Oh, whoops! Accidentally showed that twice. The grid thing on Instagram, by the way, I think Chelsea was like, "You should do that." My girlfriend, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And so there we are. 1,500 pages later, or how many ever posts there were. I had to put up 6 today, and I was like, "Oh no." I forgot to put up 3 last week. That was a big. Yeah, Slay's comment was, we got to acknowledge Slay. I'm amazed at. I was very grateful that he gave me the feedback that he did, and he's been so. As you guys work on your own projects, I hope Slay's also. I'm sure he is. He's in BookTube's corner. He is one of the most fantastic people to just speak with about your work, and he's also passionate about it, and it's pretty amazing. So sorry, back to last argument of Kings really quick. That character, what I was getting to about like crying, or at least like that welling of emotion that happens when I read. There was a moment in Dead House Gates that happened, and I'm sure. I'll just do this real quick. There's a moment in Dead House Gates that happens, and it really hits, and then I can go back and read that. Like I can pull open the page. I can probably tell you what page it is if I just like start opening the book. Like, 700, blah blah blah. And that will emotionally, like I'll get that welling of emotion. And then the last argument of Kings, and I can't say that he's so hard to not ruin because of just how. Me even saying that might make it a spoiler. I know it's not, but we'll talk about it after. But yeah, I don't know. Are there moments like that for what I'm getting to? Are there moments like that for you guys? That, and I will tie this back to my writing as well somehow, because I guess this is a cover reveal stream. Are there moments in books for you guys, any one of you three, that when you pick it up, you get that well of emotion and it affects you?
When you say that, are you saying just any time in the book, or when you pick it up?
Any time in the book. Like if you were to pick it up, if you think you went back and read that scene, that it would hit the same way as you read it the first time.
Yes, there are 2.
Well, can we? No, not the moment. Can we at least get the book?
Kingdoms of Death.
Okay, know the moment.
And Fool's Fate.
Oh wow. Okay. Noted. Making me even more excited.
It's not going to be the one. I will be shocked if it is the one when you see it, you will probably not cry. But for me, it made me cry.
Okay. Noted. The Catcher in the Rye. Sort of Destiny. Dead House Gates, Christopher or Chris. I don't know what you prefer. I know Christopher Rockfield prefers Christopher, right? I never know. Yeah. But yeah, Dead House Gates really did hit.
I can't wait to get to Dead House Gates. It's going to be April for me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would love to have a discussion about any sort of Dead House Gate. If there's other Dead House Gates that are unrelated to Malazan, I'll talk about it. Chris, are there moments for you in reading that emotions in you? And you read a lot. You read wide and you read a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. I think one for sure. Like I remember when I first got into fantasy was Redwall, the Redwall books.
Oh,
right. There was one of them that dealt with like a father-daughter kind of moment that was pretty dealt with death and stuff. And I remember as like I don't know. I don't even know what grade I was in, but elementary school age. I remember like getting a little teary-eyed reading that. So I'm sure if I read that now as a dad with daughters,
might hit a little
would be even worse. I mean, because like if I go to, like for example, today I took my kids to see Moana 2, and you know how Disney movies, they always have that part at the end, like the whole climax. Something always happens that gets you like. And it always gets me a little. I'm like, I'm glad I'm in the theater right now.
Yeah, it's dark and no one can see me.
I'm even more of a softie now than I was then with that stuff. So, anything that has parent stuff,
Realm of the Elderlings is gonna kill you, man.
I know. That's what I've heard. So yeah, that stuff always gets me for sure.
Yeah, Ass Apprentice is that one hits differently. Ass App.
Oh yes, and
that one
of course,
is
Wisdom of Crowds.
Vera was
I
referring
can't even be
to.
mad because the name's actually pretty. I can't be angry with it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's so funny.
Yes,
Chris,
for
you
sure.
you know what Vera's referring to?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
How's the
And I
leg?
can only assume what appendage means. I
Yep.
cannot wait.
I'm
I
trying
cannot
to
wait to get to that.
The
The
ship,
Age of
yeah.
Madness.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what scene that is. Oh, I think I know what scene that is.
Lots of ass apprentices here. Yeah. Well, Jake is the bodybuilder, so he's
I'm my
he's
best.
the ass master.
Try my best.
In reference to and then Jake, sorry, we got your feedback from Wind and Truth, and I mean you commented on the 3 to 4 different moments that emotionally impacted you. If you now actually for you as master, I gotta put that up. If you were to go
my
back,
favorite person on YouTube.
yeah,
dude.
this is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Jake, if you were to go back and read those scenes, those 3 to 4 scenes, do you think they would all hit the exact same each time? Or are there other scenes that you think of that you could go back to in novels and get the same impact?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, Stormlight's a big one for me. I've cried in every Stormlight book. It's usually what gets me is like a moment of triumph. Like that's usually like, like you mentioned, like Kingdoms of Death and stuff, right? Like stuff like that usually doesn't make me super, like I'll be uncomfortable or I'll feel emotional, but I'm not going to cry usually. But if it's like a big triumphant, they overcame some, like, especially if it's an internal emotional obstacle that they had to work through, then again, I know Hobbs is just going to annihilate me. But the, so a lot of moments in Stormlight, every book has gotten me there. I think I've done it with Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar. I won't say any of the Wind and Truth stuff.
Okay.
Like every main character has gotten me, and then One Piece has gotten me a few times. You mean the Nightmare Painter? That wrecked me. Yeah, dude, I was crying like a baby. I'm a sucker for like a really good romance. Like it's based on your name, right? Your Name. I was bawling.
I've never watched Your Name. I know I need to.
It's so good. It's so
okay.
good.
Noted.
But usually, like if a romance is done like perfectly or a big like triumph thing, that's usually what gets me. Or if there's like a super intense like brother thing, like I cried during Supernatural a couple times.
Oh, okay.
You know, I have a brother, and then we have kind of sometimes like I don't know, anything that's getting at like a really complex, like familial relationship like that gets me pretty good. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm a teddy bear, man. I cry so much.
That's okay. In reference to for me, it's like animals, like so. Ass Apprentice is definitely something, and just in general, like just because they're so cute, I didn't want to ruin anything. Oh, this is for you, Jake.
Dean. Anyone who says Sam is out of their mind.
Oh yeah,
Dean is the hot one.
Is he the one that was in
what?
What's it called?
Dean is absolutely the hot one.
Is he the guy that played Soldier Boy in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
get it.
I'm confused.
Yeah. What's the name of that show?
Yeah.
I am not remembering it.
Yeah, it's in The Boys, right? Yeah. Dean has daddy energy. Sam is like the nice boy that you bring home to your parents or whatever, right? Like that,
They both serve their purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to tie this whole welling of emotion really quick. Oh, hold on. Here we go. I want to talk about. We got a few comments to get to. Oh yeah, we're going to stay on those. Yeah. Age of Madness is like I want a late 2025 thing for me. I got to finish Red Country, which I'm actually enjoying when I listen to.
Probably read the standalones.
Then there you go. Just emotion.
There you go.
Yep.
Let's cut to this one.
I mean, who's going to argue though? Honestly.
Yeah, seriously, you can't. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to everybody that said it. And
what a way to start the new year!
Yeah, what a way! What a way! So in reference to welling of emotion, I don't know if you guys have experienced this in. Actually, I'll answer this really quick before I get to it. What comics? I have to finish the Old Man Logan comics, and then I'm going to pick up the old Punisher. Like I want to get all of the Punisher, like a Punisher collection, because he's like I read some of his comics growing up, and his volumes I love the Punisher. And then I also want to get the Keanu Reeves Berserker.
That's good.
Right? Yeah, I want to hit on those this year at some point. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have experienced this in any of your writing so far. I have in my writing, mostly in book one, there have been scenes where I've wrote them. I never know if I'm saying that right. Where I've written them, whatever. Yeah, somehow I write, and people, I will write in my first draft. I'll get that effect, or sometimes I don't, and then I'll go back and I'll read it again and be like, oh wow, like that impacts me. And I get that welling of emotion. I might have to, after this comment, I might have to start changing how I use that phrase. But I wrote in my second book a scene that I know I haven't gone back to it yet, but I know it's going to destroy me, and I'm sort of anxious to go back and look at it. And there's a scene in the first book that I wrote that every time that I'm going through my edits and I get to I know what chapter number it is, and I know what's going to happen as I read the first line, and I'm like, okay, I'm reluctant to enter the rest of the chapter because of how much it hits for me. And I'm wondering if you guys have also had that experience with your writing so far, or I don't know, anything whatsoever creatively that you feel like that's impacted you.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, I haven't had that writing yet because I'm just not far enough into it. There is a scene in my head that I at least hope will do that if I can find the skill to do it justice. But I've had other sort of creative things completely unrelated to fantasy stuff that is just meaningful to me in some way that makes me feel that way. But not with the writing yet. We got to get get into the deep end first.
Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah. How about you, Chris? Anything?
Yeah. I think so with the stuff I wrote before and with the stuff I'm writing now, when you're gonna kill a character off, but you're early on and you have to build that character up. You want people to love that character, right? Yeah. So kind of doing that again, or in my old stuff when I actually had to do it, that is kind of tough because you spend so much time with that character in your head and on the page, and then when it is kind of oh man, can I somehow save them here? But
yeah, you start looking for reasons. You're okay, well maybe let me justify this.
Right? Yeah. So I think anytime with that, I've noticed that it gets tough because they're like your family, these characters, your kids, you created them, and then you're gonna snuff them out.
Yeah, and it's also I think innately they contain a small part of yourself.
Yep. That's true. Every character a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's really quick honest feedback. Alex, you first saw the cover. Now that we'll hit the tail end here as we enter close to an hour before our next Red Company meeting, of course. Again, loving every opportunity I get to speak with you guys.
Same.
When you first saw the cover, Alex, what did you think? And be honest, you could tell me if you hated it.
I fucking loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was so cool.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh man, I remember seeing just I actually want to pull up the full thing here. I don't have Instagram. Never mind.
The grid.
I remember seeing the cracks and how it just. Oh man, I love the whole thing. It's so good. I have it on my phone because you sent us a picture of it a while back.
Yeah.
And I think I favorited it too. Hold on.
Hey, Chris, we'll have to get you on a live stream soon too, man. We're gonna have a conversation. It'd be great.
But I loved it. Seriously.
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Something about it was just. It feels ethereal.
Oh wow. Okay.
Nice.
It's so cool to me.
Awesome that you said that.
It feels like a god put a sword in the ground, and now I get to see it in the void.
I like it. That's kind of awesome that you said that. Thank you, man. That's awesome. That ethereal kind of aspect. There's a lot of in the story. There's a lot of this is something that I don't think the reader will get out of the gate on a first read, but there is a lot of that sort of outer world aspect that ties into the story in some way or another. Read and watch. Yes, I am self-publishing. I'm gonna I'm trying to make sure I go through every avenue to make sure it's as clean and you know, whatever it costs, and please just make it pretty, you know, like whatever I can to make sure that it's good to go. But yes, and of course, obviously the work that I put in. Jake, honest feedback, cover, go.
I also thought it was awesome. I think a lot of covers. I won't you know, name any, but I think there's a lot, especially in the self-published realm, where it's kind of like you're doing a little too much. Like, you know, like sometimes less is more. You can be too simple, of course, right? But
yeah,
I think it strikes a really good balance of when you let's say you're walking by a bookshelf, right, and you see it sitting there, it catches your eye because it's so clear, right? Like it's simple enough that you're like, oh, I know it's sword, right? Cool. We all think swords are cool. And then the more you look at it, then you start seeing these little details. So it's kind of like that. It reminds me sort of like what Sanderson does with his world building, right? Like there's the surface level stuff, but then if you want to look deeper, you can keep going deeper. It's kind of like that, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
I also will say, I like those of us who got to read the first few chapters have a tiny bit of a sneak peek, but I think the name is super interesting. The name of the book. And I can't wait to get more context around like why it's called that and just all of that.
Yes.
Which I'll tie into the cover.
Yes. Yeah, that there is definitely some, which is crazy because Stuart, who did my cover, didn't read the book. And I gave him as much of a description as I could of what I'm looking for. And there's something in the blade that he put in there that I was like, oh my God, like, how did he know? Like, it's just this sort of very cool stuff. This here, before we get to I'm going to ask you too, Chris. I'm going to put you on the spot so you have time to prepare. I like to read. Wait, hold on. And the branches coming off the center of the hill. Yeah, I'm unsure if it's supposed to be like a tree or like arteries branching off from the heart, but I like the ambiguity. Yes. So that also is something that is intentionally ambiguous. There is cause for, you know, maybe one, maybe the other, maybe both. Who knows? There's growing from this scarlet sword, giving it a very earthy, grounded feel. Oh, wow. I like how you use the word visceral. For those of you who read the first few chapters, that word came up for me a lot when I was working on them. I don't know. Yeah. But yes. Okay. So Chris, now you're on the spot. You can, by the way, I'm from the Northeast. If you hate it, you can tell me you hate it. I know you're from the North. You're from the great North.
No, man, I agree with what everybody said so far. I loved it, man. It's a sexy cover. In fact, that cover could split me open, and I would tell you. Oh, I couldn't resist. But no,
in the biz, we call that a callback.
Yeah, that cover is that's a cover that if I was walking around Barnes and Noble and I saw it on the shelf, it'd be like, boop,
you'd pick it up. Exactly.
I'd be grabbing it like automatic. I wouldn't even have to look at the back, just cover by. Like that's how sweet it is, dude. It's an awesome cover, and I think it fits with your writing and your book really well. So,
yeah, I'm grateful that you guys have like taken the time to pick up what I've sent you and the samples, and I know how valuable your reading time is, especially with, you know, the Red Company. And I'm excited to get you guys copies in the coming months as I'm finishing up working through it. I sent off I actually was surprised at my turnaround time. I sent my stuff off to Dave today. I actually literally like an hour before we got on, I finished the final edits. I ended up cutting probably 40 to 45,000 words. He asked for 60,000, and I was like, this is what I got so far, because I cut 40, 45,000, added, you know, 8 to 12 in that range. And because, you know, some scenes he was like, hey, this is absolute trash, you need to delete this. I was like, oh, okay. Totally. And he didn't say that's absolute trash, you need to delete it. He said, you could do better, you know, like that sort of thing. I'm obviously beating myself up over it, but and going back and reading the work that I did on the rewrite, I'm like, oh wow, he was totally right. Like I should have done this from the very beginning. And yeah, I'm incredibly grateful that you guys took any time at all. If you read a page, you know, like I'm just so grateful that you guys took the time to look at it. And I can't wait to get you a good quality. The goal is a high quality product for you guys to like read, because I wouldn't want to read a story. I'm this way. I wouldn't want to read a story that's incomplete and isn't like cleaned up, you know, like I want to make sure that you guys are getting the best possible thing of the world that I want to introduce. So I'm getting it there. And of course, I wanted to, jump the gun a little bit and send people samples, because when you're writing, I mean, and I'm sure you guys know this, you don't really know. Like, is what I'm writing good? Is what I'm writing worth spending more time on? And of course, to me, it had always been, and I had spent the entire time on it already. But then it's like, at that point, figuring out how can I make it even better? And you guys love the genre. You guys are avid readers of it. I know, Alex, you're absolutely voracious with your speed. And so those sorts of things I value. And I really wanted to make sure that as I endeavored on this, that the stories the truth being told, in the best way possible. So I'm grateful you guys took the time to do it, and I'm grateful to say that you guys are my friends as well, and that we are able to read and have these discussions in general. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any closing thoughts as we hit this hour that you guys would like to spew out in general over, whatever, talk about favorite stories? It doesn't have to be about the cover or anything, just whatever.
I can't wait to get my hands on that book, on your book.
Yeah, right? Exactly. To be honest. Just want to say congrats, man. I mean, we're trying to write stuff. Like, it takes a lot to do it, and you're doing it, man. You're close, and like, congrats. And I'm sure Jake feels the same way. It's an inspiration to me to trying to do the same thing, seeing everything you're doing and reading your stuff. Like, it's awesome. I just appreciate you including us in it too, man. It means a lot, and we're always going to be here. We got your back, dude.
I'm grateful.
Yeah. I'll echo all the same things, and just also add, like, you're grateful for us taking the time to read it. Like, we're grateful for you being willing to share it with us, right? Yeah. Like, that's I think anyone who's done anything creative knows that's a scary thing. It's a big step, right? To share that piece of your soul with somebody and open yourself up to rejection and embarrassment and all those things. And it's like, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I think it's true. Like, it's an honor that you trusted us with that. Mm-hmm. Like, it's super cool, and it was awesome. And I'm just excited for you, dude. It's like Chris said, it's super inspirational. And every weekly update, when I'm just like, man, he got this done this week, I still haven't done anything, So it's kind of it's super cool, dude. So congrats. It's going to be huge. I can't wait until July, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm grateful, man.
I hope it gets so much success. I want it to be I want you to be the next big Brando Sando.
I don't know about that, dude. That's a high bar. I'll take
it's going to be amazing, though.
Yeah, I think we got someone asking about majors in the Alex. You got a last final question for you.
Oh, yeah, what's your major?
Oh, he said, I guess he's going to be getting into.
I want to go into the medical field, and I'd like to minor in English, but I don't know if I'm willing to. It all depends on what I feel like. Because the thing is, I'm not the biggest fan of English class. I love to read books, though, and I actually really enjoy writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go, man. Yeah, whenever I don't know, I always recommend, and it's so much easier said than done. Like, the biggest hurdle I had to jump in my drafting phases in both books that have been drafted has been actually getting in the chair, because I'm like, oh man, does this suck? Is this gonna be like, does it suck? I suck. Just that voice in your head that always is like beating yourself up. And then it's conquering that. You know what I mean? There we go. Alex, get out while you still can.
Get out of high school? I want out. Don't worry.
Get out of high school. We have a teacher in here. You can't.
No. You got to graduate first.
Yeah, you got to graduate first.
College, we can have that conversation. There's lots of different routes after high school.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. But yeah, I honestly forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I think getting your ass in the chair is a very big part of the experience. Creating mnemonic for the Krebs cycle. I actually know what
lore for this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of booktube lore.
That's a deep cut right there.
That is so funny. I forgot the Krebs cycle in I did pass both AP 1 and 2, but nice. and you know what? That actually did make me a significantly better personal trainer. I gotta say, just in general,
it does help.
Yeah, it does help a lot. But anyways, guys, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm grateful that you guys were able to do this with me, and I'm grateful that you guys brought it up, and we're having a cover reveal stream. I know that there will be more conversations between now and the book's release, but also just about the Red Company, talking about Aleuthian. That's the next time I think I'll see you guys, right? The end of this month, the start of February.
I think so.
And we also have, I think, after the, we're going to have to get a Berserk. We have to figure out the whole Berserk thing. We have to finish the Conviction arc. I just unwrapped the big volume 6 today. Chris, wait, real quick before we sign off. Where are you?
Gosh, I'm reading the small one. Let me see.
Yeah, I need to know.
Let me see what the last one I finished.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Vera. Thanks for being watching.
Keep talking. Hold on.
No, you're good. Hey, we'll end it, and then you tell me when we're off. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for coming, stopping by for the cover reveal. You guys can go to my Instagram. I got links for the Amazon thing and the thing below. I'll actually have to put all of these guys' channels in the description. And this has been the Red Company. That's a new sign off we have now. I'll see you guys later.